Today on Battleground, Georgia, the candidates again in Georgia. We'll also be looking at reproductive rights, such a polarizing issue. How do they play in this race? And lastly, North Carolina, another southern state getting tighter in the polls. Now we bring in political analyst Bill Crane. Bill, we've got Trump in Savannah. We had Harris in Atlanta last week. It's just more of confirmation of how important Georgia is.
And J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate, will be in 2 locations on Thursday.
What does that say? Is Georgia getting tighter? Is Trump's advantage staying about the same in Georgia? Why so much effort?
Well, it does mean that they still believe Georgia's in play or they wouldn't be spending time or money here. But it does show in the most recent polling that Georgia is becoming more solid, with the most recent poll released on the 23rd by the New York Times, basically putting him ahead by 5, 2 from what we heard up last week. And in the state of North Carolina, which you're going to talk about, that lead is tightening for Trump. And nationally, in the New York Times Siena poll, he leads by 1 over Vice President Harris.
We know that Democrats poll well with their position on abortion rights. And where do you see that playing now? I mean, it was a big deal in the midterms.
It can be a big deal in the general election, but where we are now is only 7% undecided in Georgia, 6% undecided nationally. Reproductive rights is the single most important issue with about 10% of voters, and those typically are more likely to be women. So suburban women, who are among the last to decide, lock and load late, and those votes may be critical deciding Georgia's election in suburbs of Atlanta, suburbs of Philadelphia, suburbs of Charlotte.
Bill, a border state with Georgia, of course, North Carolina. At one point, it looked like it was pretty solid Donald Trump, but that's gotten a lot closer in the past week or two. Why?
It was the state that Donald Trump won by the closest margin in 2020. What is at issue now is Lieutenant Governor Robinson, the Republican nominee for governor, has had some social media posts from his youth and on younger days in public office discovered and reported by CNN that have dragged down the entire GOP ticket there in most polls 3 to 4 percentage points.
Bill, there is a significant fundraising disparity between the Harris camp and the Trump camp. Harris has had a lot more success raising dollars. And so why is that, and how much has it mattered when we look at other races?
Well, it does matter, but Donald Trump was outspent in 2016 and 2020, and obviously he won over Hillary Clinton in 2016. You can look at several things, but Joe Biden had about $300 million that had been pledged to the DNC ticket that didn't come in when people were wanting him out. As soon as he did come in, almost $200 million came off the shelf and into Harris campaign coffers, now Harris Walls, and that's why she has the advantage.
Are there still Republicans who maybe are more of the George H.W. Republicans who they may vote for Donald Trump, but they're not out there trying to raise a bunch of money for him? Is that what's going on?
Mitt Romney and Bain Capital, a lot of Chamber of Commerce types, big corporate interests, and some of Wall Street have stayed away, whereas folks like Elon Musk have ponied up.
Okay, so we'll have to see how that plays out in the weeks that we have remaining. Thanks so much. This has been Battleground, Georgia.